Look at a typical forest floor. We're taught to see a quiet, static landscape, a collection of raw materials, standing in isolation, waiting to be harvested or used. It feels entirely still, but drop beneath the topsoil, and that stillness vanishes. Tree roots are constantly firing electrical impulses back and forth through the dark earth. We have historically diagnosed the forest as an ecosystem of competing individuals. The biological data, however, suggests we are looking at a single, synchronized machine. Forester Peter Wohlleben has spent over 30 years observing these systems up close. His field research documents behaviors that defy our standard botanical models. He observed that trees maintain an active electrical internet. They utilize physical senses to taste and feel. They even develop distinct personalities, making different calculated decisions based on their specific environments. This suggests that a walk in the woods is something far more complex than a hike through nature. Your path leads across a vast reacting system. The physical wiring of this structure is made of fungi. Tree roots splice directly into fine, thread-like fungal networks called mycelium. This creates a vast subterranean grid that links nearly every tree to its neighbors. These fungal synapses actively measure the health of the entire structure. If a massive, healthy tree has an excess of carbon and sugar, the fungi physically shift those resources away, routing them through the soil to smaller, weaker trees that are starving in the shade. The fungi function as the regulators of a nervous system. They distribute nutrients with strict efficiency to ensure the whole organism survives. This structure also mounts systemic defenses against localized pain. On the African savanna, when a giraffe bites into the canopy of an umbrella acacia, the tree registers the trauma immediately. Within minutes, the bitten acacia floods its remaining leaves with poison. Simultaneously, it emits a warning gas, ethylene, into the wind. The surrounding acacias detect this chemical alarm and proactively pump poison into their own leaves before the giraffe ever reaches them. Pine trees respond with even greater precision. They detect the specific chemical signature of caterpillar saliva upon impact. Once it identifies the predator, the pine secretes a pheromone into the air. This scent is designed to summon a particular species of parasitic wasp, which arrives to lay its eggs inside the caterpillars, neutralizing the threat. Through chemical gas and electrical impulses, the forest actively monitors its extremities and orchestrates targeted defenses. The system even possesses the capacity for long-term care. Take this stump. It was felled over 400 years ago. It has no leaves and cannot photosynthesize. By biological logic, it should be dead. But the outside wood of this stump is still green. Surrounding trees have been pumping sugar into its roots for 4 centuries, operating a biological life support system to keep their injured neighbor alive. The decisions behind this care are driven by memory. The sensitive tips of tree roots store data from past traumas. If a tree holds on to its leaves too long and suffers an early frost freeze, the root tips record that injury. The tree will never make the mistake of shedding its leaves late again. It records its history. It alters behavior based on experience. This leads to a singular conclusion. The forest possesses a collective consciousness. The environment is a deliberate communicating entity. Viewed through this anatomical lens, industrial logging takes on a darker context. Extracting timber is a blunt biological trauma to a highly connected network. Clear-cutting a section of woods physically severs the fungal wiring and terminates the electrical signals. It is the biological equivalent of lobotomizing a functioning brain. The physical extraction deletes the root tips that store the region's climate history and destroys the subterranean alliances that kept the surrounding system resilient. Beneath the dirt, the forest landscape is a unified structure, pulsing with electrical thought and deep chemical memory. This network reacts to the vibration and chemistry of every single organism that touches it. When you walk through these ancient trees, the forest is not just around you, it is feeling you.